Well, hello there. My name is Mark Mars, and I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take the results to the next level. In today's video, I want to talk to you about something that we really talk on and really even think about because we don't want to go there in our thinking. So that is the topic of why people don't actually come back, why people actually leave our training sessions, and potentially we never see them again. And what I want to talk to you about today is called the resignation cycle. And what I've discovered and what I've heard from one of my great coaches and mentors is a great piece of content around the stages that someone goes through before they actually check out, so to speak, and essentially before they give up on your training and give up on learning in your learning environment. So essentially, we need to realize that people's giving up, so to speak, and the stages they go through, it's quite predictable. Yes, it actually is. It is predictable as to who is going to leave and how quickly they leave. And what we need to be able to do as trainers, facilitators, coaches, and mentors is be able to stay on top of that and be able to minimize the number of people that fall into what's called the resignation cycle. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about the stages someone goes through as they travel through it. And as I said, today's content is inspired by one of my coaches and mentors, Ben Harvey, who runs Authentic Education. And when I heard this piece of content, I was so blown away, and I shared it with so many people because when you are aware of these stages people go through, you can start to really predict how people are experiencing your workshop and potentially how quickly they are. Or how soon they are, or how close they are to actually giving up in your workshop, which is a really good thing to know. So get ready, grab a pen and get ready to write because there are predictable stages. So as you are teaching from stage, you are going to be teaching content, and that people are going to be oscillating between certainty and confusion. Certainty, confusion, confusion, certainty. As you teach them something, their model of the world is going to be twisted, it's going to be upgraded, but they're going to have to go into a place of uncertainty, then confidence and uncertainty, then confusion, confusion, uncertainty, and confidence and uncertainty. And then people are going to be balancing that out as they hear new information. So they're going to be certain about something, then uncertain, certain, uncertain, then they can fall into confusion. What can create confusion? Well, maybe they can't follow along with the process you're doing. Maybe they can't see one of the slides. Maybe they're distracted from something that's going on behind them. Maybe they just can't read the manual or follow along with the manual. Or maybe they just can't fill out one of the activities in the way that you are describing it. And people fall into that state of confusion. Now, the problem is that, yes, we need confusion to learn new things, but if we are stuck in confusion too long, then we can fall into the next stage of resignation, which is the stage of frustration. Frustrated. Other people are getting it. I'm not. And, the trainer seems to know what they're talking about, but I don't get it. And people get frustrated. And this can be quite negative, certainly for the audience member, but also it can ripple around the room as well. So you definitely want to catch this early, right? So people can fall in that state of frustration. Now, if people stay frustrated too long, what can happen next is people can fall into anger. And this is the time where you see people on social media, maybe they're bashing a company, maybe they're super upset, maybe they've gone to the restroom and talked negatively about the trainer, the presenter, the company, could be anything at all. But people go from frustration to anger very quickly. And that is in the state where people they cannot see the light for the darkness that's in front of them. It's so frustrated, so angry, and they really are struggling to get out of that state. After they've gone from the anger to the next stage is actually fear. Now, this is the stage where people go home at night and they start to think, can I really do this? Am I good enough? Is this achievable within the time frame that I've got? And they start to get very fearful, and they have a lot of self-doubt, and they question themselves a lot. And then if they keep questioning themselves and stay in that place too long, then they'll go to the next stage, which is the resignation. They will either rock up the next day and they'll speak to the crew or the volunteers or maybe the trainer and say, sorry, it's too hard, not for me, I'm going to bow out. Or they may even not show up next day at all. Or they may call up the trainer and say, no, too hard, can't do it. This mode of learning is too hard for me. And that place, you've lost them, right? And we need to realize that those stages are pretty predictable. And as a trainer, presenter, facilitator, coach, mentor, you need to be able to see what stage is someone at, and you need to be able to reset them back to zero. And we do that by certainly creating opportunities for people to ask questions. But more importantly, you want to create moments of knowing that this little piece coming up, that typically creates a little bit of confusion. So you're going to be even more explicit in how you explain things. You're also going to be a little bit more patient, and you're going to do whatever you can, knowing that there are going to be pinch points along the, I guess, sequence and timeline of your content delivery. You need to be consciously aware of where do people typically get confused and be able to plot that out in your mind and make yourself available and make crew available to make sure that they catch it at the confusion, frustration stage as much as possible, and make sure that people feel like there is support available. Now, let's take this into another context, because this resignation stage or cycle is quite applicable to other areas of life as well. Maybe it's in relationships. Maybe it's in you started a brand new job. So let's think about it in a brand new job context. You've been working a couple of days, a brand new job, and you're building up a little bit of certainty here. But then all of a sudden you get frustrated because your boss has asked you to do something, and you're like, okay, I'm doing my best here, getting a little bit frustrated, trying it this way, that's not working, trying it that way, that's not working. And after you've been in frustration for a little bit, you're getting a little bit angry. You're starting to maybe even blame your boss. Maybe you're starting to blame the company. Maybe you're starting to blame the systems, and you're getting really upset and angry. Then what happens? You go home that night, and you're really upset about a client, or maybe upset about the company, or the induction process, or whatever it may be. You're getting really angry. Then you fall into the fear stage, and you start to ask yourself, can I really do this? Can I really do this job that I've signed up for? Do I have the skills? Do I have the know-how? And then eventually you may fall into the next stage, which is resignation. And over the following couple of days, you start to write your resignation letter. And unless you've got a couple of days of confidence building, that resignation letter is going to come out. You're going to shoot that off, and you're going to think, yeah, I was just confused too long. There was not enough clarity. I was too frustrated, too angry, and you will justify your resignation. All right. At the end of the day, in life, we're always going to oscillate between certainty and confusion. Certainly, certainty and confusion. And as a trainer, presenter, facilitator, coach, mentor, someone leading from stage, you need to be aware of that. You need to know that people's behavior in a place of confusion is quite predictable. And ultimately, you need to be able to catch it as soon as possible and have those multiple opportunities and avenues for that confusion to be dissipated and people to rebuild that level of certainty, if that makes sense. So hopefully you got some value from this video. The cycle of resignation, we go into confusion, we go into frustration, we go into anger, we go into fear, and then we go into resignation. All right, these stages are predictable. And once you know this and start to spot this, your ability to really command a room and really flow with people's levels of learning, understanding, and breakthrough will really transform. Hope you got some value from the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Let's get this out there. And as always, thanks for supporting the channel. As always, don't forget to put some comments below if it's really resonating with you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.